Okay, good evening. Welcome to the lightning talks. I will moderate those, and the first speaker is Jorn. He will talk about case make school projects. Yeah, welcome to Jorn.
Test 1, 2. Okay. So I'm going to talk to. I'm Florian from the Karlsruhe Mannheim, by the way, if this is from interest. We have a project running in Mannheim which is called Chaos macht Schule. It's a play of words, so if you're just speaking English, it doesn't make sense to you. It's called School Project. And we are doing some sort of educational stuff at schools to show the people what hacking is really about, what hackers really do, to polish the image of hackers a little bit. And another concern of this project is that, I don't know if you attended the 22th CE3, there was a talk which was called We Lost the War, and it was basically about are we in charge to do something? Do we have to do something, or is it all over, or do we have lost everything? So we decided to do something, and I think it was 4 or 5 months ago we created this project, we worked on this project, and we tried to reach people where you can change something. So it's pretty hard to go out there and reach like the 60-year-old email once a day user or something. If you're going to a school where you can reach people that are 16, 17 years old or something, this is much better. You can create a sense and awareness of security of things that are going on, like surveillance, etc. And to come to the point, what this project is about, we're going to a school. We are showing how insecure different protocols are, because this is the fun part of it, you know, the people watching their ICQ passwords getting sniffed, etc. We are not teaching people how to hack. This is not about how to sniff passwords or whatever. It's just to create a sense of awareness by showing what can happen. We even do Googling. We're doing this at a school or at classes where the pupils are like 16, 17 years old, and we're searching for participants to Google. And the results are pretty amazing, even for people that are 16, 17 years old. They got their email addresses, their porn pics, their whatever, all over the internet. And so this is another thing we do. It's not just like hacking. It's our lecture has to do with password security, sniffing, like Googling, databases, data mining, the payback system, etc., etc. So I would like to encourage you all, if you're from a Chaos Treff or another organization or whatever, just if you want to adopt this project, if you want to know more about it, go visit our website or contact us. It's like exactly 200 meters in this direction until you reach a white tent with a black flag, CCC, Chaos Treff Mannheim on it. Just go there, ask us if you want to do a similar project. I think it's really worth it, and I think you can really do something. Okay, so that's all.
Okay, the next talk is about OpenStreetMap, done by Jaron Deckers.
Okay, it's not fully on the screen, but can you give the next slide? Well, what is an OpenStreetMap? That's a project to create free maps. If you, I have to explain it to somebody of the press, and I always say it's like Wikipedia, but for maps. And what we are doing is we are creating we are trying to create a free map of the whole world. It started 3 years ago in England. Some people but like they were very disappointed that they couldn't get any maps or map data from the government. It's all proprietary. You have to. It's very expensive, especially in England. So what they did, well, that's something like we have all those GPSs that are getting cheaper and cheaper, and well, why aren't we going walking around with a GPS and just map every street of the cities and so create our own map? Our maps are licensed under the Creative Commons share alike license, so everybody can do with it what they want as long as they keep it free. What's especially important is that our data is the vector data and not just the maps. What you, for example, get with Google Maps, it's just the images, and you can put something on it, like the mashups, but you can't really create your own maps with it. So what do you need to start helping with creating maps? Well, you need a GPS, so you can track where you go. You need either a camera, a dictaphone, or paper and pen to write down where you have been, what the streets are named. You need most of the time you're going by bike to the city, but if you have in the countryside, then you really need a car to start mapping those areas. And of course, what you also need is a lot of spare time, because it's going to take a lot of time to map every street of a city. So this is what it looks when you have been going around a part of a city. You can see the track of the GPS going out. Of course, this is just like very inaccurate. It's like GPS normally has an accuracy of like 5 to 10 meters, if you're lucky. After this, you're going to draw the map on top of it. So then it looks like this. Then you draw all the vectors, and then you can just tag every way you want it. You can just there's a free-form tagging, so you can just if you've got some crazy idea to start putting things in the maps. For example, I know somebody who likes to put all the post boxes he sees in the map. So well, you can just do it. You can just upload what you want, and it's basically the idea. If it gets more popular, then it's also going to be rendered on the map, which you can see in the next slide. This is our map. This also the render is also created by ourselves, and all the software we are using. So how far are we now? I'm coming from the Netherlands, and a month ago, A&D is a company who's working with map data. It's one of the 3 big companies who are working with navigation systems and maps. You've got also Navtech and Teleatlas. And they came to us and they want to donate all their map data to us. And the idea is that it's very expensive to maintain their map. Maps, streets are changing, new streets are created or streets are gone. So their idea is that it's cheaper for them that the community is going to maintain the map. Instead, they have to send some people in some kind of tracking device truck. In England, there's also already some cities complete. It started 3 years ago in England, and now there are Cambridge is complete, London is almost complete, some other cities are nearing completion. In Germany there's also some very active people. Karlsruhe, there's been a mapping party in Karlsruhe where people just come together all weekend and map parts of the city. That's the whole city center of Karlsruhe is complete as far as I know. And in other countries, people are also starting mapping. I've seen in France, Denmark, Spain, Scandinavia. People are also mapping. People are studying mapping more. And somewhere just, if you look at the user statistics, then you see really an exponential growth of the users and the map data. So this is a comparison of where we are now. It's not really completely on the screen. On the left you can see Google Maps, and you will see really like nothing here. And on the right you can see that we already have the airport and all the ways there, but it's not really very clear. So but our project is not only about creating maps. Of course, you also have to create our own software. We had to write server software for having map data, but also making it possible for everybody to edit it. That software didn't exist yet, so we had to create it. We also had to create some editors people can use. We have got one Flash-based web editor, which is for people who are just starting with the project. They can just go to the web, press the edit button, and start changing the map. And then for people who are more comfortable with editing maps, we have a JOSM, that's a Java-based editor. There you can really use all the extra features, all the key combinations to really create the maps very fast. We also created some renders, so we can create nice pictures. We have got now 2 renders. The first one is Mapnik. That's a very fast renderer written partly in Python, partly in C. It's the map you see when you go to www.openstreetmap.org. There's also Osmo Render that's creating SVG maps, which you can really create very nice posters with. And people all have been using that with Tels at Home. That's some distributed client, distributed computing project where people are just run Tels at Home on their PC. It downloads the data from the server, renders the Tels and uploads the Tels back. So if you want to know more about the project, then you can go to the website, or you can also subscribe to the mailing list, ask questions there, and there's most of the time always somebody who can help you.
Okay. The next lightning talk is about Second Life by MZ.
Okay. My nickname is MZ, and also my Second Life, maybe my Second Life name is MCM Zoom. And maybe you know already about Second Life because of the media buzz in the last weeks or month. But I'm in Second Life for even longer time, about a year, or over a year now. And I will talk a little bit about what Second Life is and why it is interesting for creative people, mainly because you can create such interesting things there. Okay, that's the main part is building stuff and scripting. There's a scripting language that you are able to build whatever you're thinking of. Yeah, and the last point is I'm building the camp in Second Life on a white space, but it's I will show pictures later a little bit. Okay. So what is Second Life? First of all, it's a 3D virtual world, and the main difference between other 3D worlds is that the content is user created. So mainly most of the stuff, or even there are some things that are fixed. There are some tree types that are fixed, but everything else you can build by your own and is built by residents there. So the creator is Linden Labs. And the CEO of Linden Labs is, no, his name is, oh, I forgot it. But he is coming from Real Networks, so he was there and started his own company, Linden Labs, and tried to build this 3D world. Okay. Mainly, the world is based on so-called sims or simulators, and every simulator has 265 meters and 265 meters space, and you can cross the borders. So every sim is connected to other sims. So it built a quite big network, or grid it's called. So I don't know the number of simulators exactly, but it's about 9,000 simulators and still growing. Maybe not so fast anymore because gambling is now not allowed. So it's banned gambling. Yeah, you can own parcels on the Sims, and you can also have multiple Sims or one Sim, or you can buy this land and must pay a tier monthly to own this land. This is the main income for Linden Labs. So everything else, there are also things you can sell and you can buy, but that's that's not there is no tax on it. Yeah, okay. Even if you don't own land, you can build in so-called sandboxes and put the stuff in your inventory and put it anywhere else on the ground, or carry it, and so on. You don't need to own land. Okay. Yeah. First, there is no goal. There is no kill 10 aliens or bring the head of someone, or I don't know. There is no goal. It's simply, it's more like more like Second Life is the best explanation for it. It's a second life. You can do maybe things you don't do in real life, or you can do things you do also in real life, so on. It's more like chatting in IRC with a 3D environment on it, and even IM is of course built in. Okay. Other things you can do is as I said, 9,000 sims. It's a very vast land, so you can explore and see what other people do, or build, or talk to them, meet people, whatever. So, and for creative people, there is, you can build everything you like. So the building tools built in Second Life, and you can really build it directly in Second Life, and other people can look and see what you are building and help you, or say it's shit you're building, I don't know. Okay, and the other thing is you can programming everything. So there's a scripting language I will explain later a little bit. And yeah, next. First there's a need for a client. It's not a browser game or something like that. I even think it's not a game because there's no goal. Okay, yeah, the Second Life viewer is available for Linux in alpha, but it works very fine. Without one feature is missing, macOS and even Windows. Okay, the Second Life viewer is now open source. I think about 1.5 years or so it is open source, and you can change things, find bugs, whatever you want. Like there's a tracking system, everything you using. There are GPL people there that try to build a community on the viewer, and so. Yeah, the protocol is reverse engineered by some people they called lib second life. So with this lib second life, yeah, you can build bots or other things, or you can, yeah, you can. There's a proxy. This is between the client and the server, and you can change things in the stream and whatever you like. Okay, the building. Building of 3D objects in Second Life is really, really simple. Nice GUI to build, to rotate, to change things. And the main part is, because I think of traffic, there are the smallest part there is a preemptive. And a preem is a box, a sphere, a cylinder, and you can change also parameters on that. Hollow it, let it glow, changing textures, and so on. Yeah, twist it, share it, and you can put textures on it, I have to say. The textures are JPEG 2000, and you have to upload them on their server, and then they are provided there. Okay, the scripting language, so this is I'm interested most in, is yeah, you can put scripts in every preemptive, and you can and they can talk to each other, and the scripting language is called Linden scripting language. They try to change it to C#, but still in works. So LSL is, looks like C code or Java code, state-driven, event-driven language. Yeah, there is no direct object orientation in it. But if you think multiple preems or objects talking to each other, sending messages, and so it's kind of object oriented. So even a script can create an object, and you can see it because it's a 3D environment, and so it's kind of object oriented. Yeah. Okay. Messages can be sent to other preems in an area or even in the whole grid. Okay. Yeah. Then I'm trying to build I'm trying to build the camp here in Second Life. So I got land, and I'm trying to build the hangars and tents, and maybe there are ideas to bring the real world and the second world together. So I try to bring these streams in Second Life. It's working, and yeah, ideas. So now there are some tents, some types of tents. It's not that precise, so it's more kind comic look like. Okay. Yeah, you can see blinking lights. I built a blinking lights. It's powered by the Blinking Lights movies, so maybe you know some of the movies that are running there. And live video, I said. I have built this fairy dust, so you can see the rocket in Second Life. I'm trying to build the night skyline of the camp, so I'm on it. Okay. Maybe we can put the Sputnik data of the RFID text and show it somehow in Second Life, so you can see where real life persons are located. Yeah, I think if you like the idea, you can simply come. You only must register. I forgot the links. It's simple secondlife.com, and you register there, download the client, and you're free to go everywhere, look. You have no money, okay. If you try to find us, the SIM, so every SIM has a name. And the SIM is called plush red. Or you can, there's a search function, you can search for Chaos Communication Camp and got there. On the wiki site there is a village called Second Life Village. So it's a virtual village. And there I will put some more infos, and there's a link you can teleport directly on the area, and maybe I add some links, so I missed to add links. So next slide, one picture. So there's a fairy dust and the blinking lights in the background, so everything else there is a little bit missing, so the hungers are coming soon, hopefully. Yeah, so next slide. Okay, this is the other direction. There are some tents. There's a prototype of one hangar and the lights on top spinning, and yeah, green lights on the path. And okay, if you like, come and look for yourself. Okay, maybe questions? Okay, if somebody is directly interested in building or seeing some of this, please come to me after the talk, and I have a notebook and can show you maybe something. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the next talk is done by B. It's about Gozabot. That one.
This talk is about Gozabot, and Gozabot is a Jabber ESA bot for doing lots of things. It's written in Python, and because of that you have a lot of options to implement it in whatever you want, basically. I'd like to tell you how I came into Gozabot. I was playing around with ISC daemons, and inevitably came curious about ActDrop and that kind of programs. And I ran into a channel which I often visit, the Gozabot, and I saw it perform lots of tasks, including a few humorous tasks, but also a lot of very serious tasks. And if you can scroll down a little bit, then I'll talk some more about the functionality. Can you scroll down a little bit, please? Thank you. Oh, no, too far. Yes. The main features of Gozabot is, well, of course, a clean design, which I think every program stands and falls with. It has robust security. It's equipped with a few very responsive developers. I usually go into the channel with a problem or a question, or when I fuck things up, and then immediately I get an answer to what it is I fucked up, or 2 minutes later or 15 minutes later I have to do an upgrade and everything is well. So that's kind of amazing. It has UDP support for easy integration with other information sources. So a few examples of that are Nagios and implementation in BugTrack, which I will get back to a little bit later. It has a simple plugin interface. It enables creating commands for common actions. So basically what I already told you, a lot of systems which are computer controlled can be integrated into the bot. On the one way to extract information or get information about the process, or to command it completely. As I said, it has standard support for sending Nagios notifications to IRC. And about a little bit of security, if the bot does not know you, you have to be meted with your user host. And if it does not know you, it will not respond to the commands. I usually swap a lot of host names, so I have to be meted every now and then. or I have to get back in my screen session to do it myself. But if I don't have that done, then I will not be able to control my own bot. It is in the config file you have to assign one user host for the owner, and well, that makes it pretty hard to get owner rights. Well, why GozaBot? It has IRC and Jabber support. It can rely on a pickle file, but it can also address MySQL, Postgres, or SQLite. User management, as I said, done by user host. It will not respond if it doesn't know you. Fleet, you can use more than one bot in a program. I have a fleet which I've tested a lot with. My fleet is, I think, on every major network that I can find on netsplit.de. I also get kicked quite a lot because some people don't know what the hell that bot is doing on their network. I have a record of 36, and well, what should you do with that? Well, I opened one channel on every network, and I added a relay, a sort of bouncer. So everything that gets typed in one channel on whatever network gets relayed across all the other channels. So if you join, I instantly should find out. And that works amazingly. You get a bit of lag, but it's nice to fiddle around with. Where am I? You can use the bot through a DCC chat to make things more private or secure. You can fetch RSS feeds, which I use an awful lot. I use it for BBC News or whatever you can imagine, alerts. Every time he does a poll, you get the new lines. You can define yourself if you only want the title or also the link or whatever item the RSS feed has. Keeping to-do and shopping lists, that's a good one for me. I am working with getting things done. I think a lot of people might know about that. And it uses a lot of lists. And I can also move things around from one list to the other. And well, it's a good reminder. Every time you have to note something down, you can go to your channel and dump it in. Funny things is KarmaBot. I don't think I have to explain what that does. You can add quotes, which you also can store in the database for other fun things. You can remember items, so I can add a reminder for myself with a date and a time. And when that time occurs, then I'll be notified in the channel. Relaying between bots, I already told about that. And it's because of the Python language, relatively easy to build your own plugins. So if you need something that's not in it, then be my guest. It runs a built-in web server for accessing basic information stored in the bot, and also for the collective, which is a lot of bots who can be joined together. So you can execute one command and all the other bots reply. So you can ask for uptime of every bot and to get a few replies back. Excuse me. Remote installable plugs, which are PCP signed. You have a repository which keeps the plugins, and you can by command install a new plugin and check out if it's authentic. Upgrading and restarting after, for example, you install the plugin can be done without losing your connection, which is quite a feat. And for developers, bug track integration and RSS bug notification comes quite in handy. So if you can go a little bit more down, in closing. At this moment, GozaBot has around and about 200 plugins. What I said, performing humorous tasks like interacting and responding to events. It also serves beverages, coffee and tea mostly. It can also relate, can execute some basic IP commands, so I can find out host names or IP addresses, etc. It can announce the IP address of joint web chat users, so you don't have to figure that out yourself anymore. And well, it's almost too much to say. Much more as I write. I've covered everything, I guess. The strong point is, again, the plug-in development and the strong support of the responding developers. And all you basically need is a shell, Python 2.4 or higher. If you want to remotely install plugins, the GNU PG module. If you want MySQL support or Jabber support, also the according modules. In this case, MySQL DB and XMPPY. And that is about it. If you want to find more about it, you can find out the homepage, gozebot.org. We have a Hack the Bot challenge running right now at the camp. You can find out more about that in the wiki. We basically run workshops out in our village at Mononokaville, which is behind Seabase. So you can always drop by and find more out if you want to. And of course, the IRC channels. It's a --dunkbots on IRC and also Freenode. And --hackthebot is found on Freenode. So thank you very much.
Okay, the next talk is done by Simon, and that's about why you should develop for the OLPC laptop. Yeah. Afterwards, the United Transnational Republics talk will be held. That one.
Hi, my name is Simon and I'm from OLPC Austria. We're a grassroots organization supporting the One Laptop Per Child project, mainly in Austria and in Central Europe. The project is developing a laptop that you probably all know under the name $100 laptop. It's kind of a cool phrase, but a terrible product name because the price is not fixed, and it will be somewhere around $175 at the start, and it will probably drop to about $50 in about 4 years. So that's why the product, the final product, will actually be named XO Laptop. The XO laptop has been developed to better the problem of education in developing countries. That's a huge task. Nearly 2 billion children live in developing countries, and most of them have very inadequate access to education or no education at all. So the project is about education. The laptop is just the most promising way to start solving this problem. I'm going to tell you about 4 reasons why you should develop for the XO laptop, and then 3 things that you can do right now. First reason is that it's great and interesting hardware. It has a unique display that has a reflective black and white mode. So the picture actually gets better the more sunlight you shine on it. I think it's really one of the most amazing features of the whole thing, and you definitely have to see it for yourself. I have one right here, so yeah, you can try it out. It has an incredible battery life of about 12 hours. And the whole thing is extremely robust. It has no openings for ventilation, and the ports are all sealed, so you can pour water on it, or you can use it outdoors. Also, it has no moving parts, so you can drop it, but at least in theory. Please don't try this with our laptop. This is a beta machine, and it's not really reinforced. And the ports are not sealed yet, so please don't do any stress tests with it. So the EXO is a great machine, but only software will make it brilliant. And that's software that you can write. The most obvious big reason for to develop for it is that there will be a few 100 million of these laptops, and they could all run your code. Next big reason is that it's entirely running open source software. The GUI is called Sugar, and it's built on a whole bunch of open source projects. Sugar is written in Python, and Python is also the preferred language for application development for the laptop, particularly for one reason. There's a view source button on the keyboard. Kids are actually invited to check out and change the source code of every application they're running. And the fourth and most important reason is that you can really change the world, and it doesn't take much. You can, even with your smallest apps, you can really make a difference. The task is so huge that it really comes down to one thing: do something, and it will make great things happen. So what can you do? Sugar applications are called activities, and we're today announcing a worldwide activity development challenge. The basic idea is that you can develop activities for the laptop, open source activities, of course, and you can win some amazing prizes. So the first thing you can do is get one of the flyers. I have a lot of them right here, and sign up at activitychallenge.org to get notified when the competition starts. It will be somewhere in this fall. The second thing is to get in touch with us. Go to olpcaustria.org to find out how you can help. You can also contact us if you want to start your own OLPC initiative in your country. We can probably help you get started. And the third thing I want you to do is to try it out yourself. The laptop will be here till Sunday, so just ask me or contact me over the wiki if you want to play with it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, the last talk will be done by Georg about the United Transnational Republics.
Yes. Wait a second. Yeah, good evening. My name is Georg Zoche. I came as a representative of the United Transnational Republics to this camp, and I'm going to talk about our organization. First of all, I think you all know the term non-governmental organization, NGO. We are not an NGO. We don't like the term non-governmental. We actually are the first known 3GO, which means Global Governmental Grassroots Organization. And this organization is dealing on the topic of globalization and democracy. Democracy as we know it today takes place only within the borders of nation states, and globalization on the other side happens outside of the national frame and is outside of the system where democracy is still working. Basically what we have is a situation of global problems, but only local governments. Well, so what we would need is a global government for these global problems, and therefore our approach is that the current system of representation of individuals on this planet needs to be expanded by one more level. So we have the nation states for national topics, for national matters. We have the United Nations for international problems. And we are proposing to have another level of representation, which we call the United Transnational Republics, to deal with transnational topics. This is our logo. As you can see, it is an expansion of the already political system in place. We are not against the nations or against the United Nations. We just want to expand the systems already in place, because we think it's easier to add something than to completely overthrow the systems in place. Now, what is our structure? Just as the United Nations is an assembly of nation states, the United Transnational Republics is an assembly of the various transnational republics. And it works that every person in the world has the choice either to join a transnational republic or start his or her transnational republic herself or himself. And then each transnational republic within the assembly of the United Transnational Republics has the voting power of the people it is representing. With this structure, we reach a system of direct democracy without having to have parties, and we will have transnational republics which are in competition with each other, controlling each other, and the whole system is scalable. It's interesting with this kind of structure, you can represent billions of people, and you only need one level of separation between the individual and the actual parliament. Well, the question is, if we would build such a structure, how would we empower it? How would we get power? Well, first, there's what we call the moral power of the big number. If such an organization would exist and it would represent billions of people, a decision within such an organization would have a very, very strong power. But even more important would be the idea to have monetary power. So moral is good, but money is better. In order to get monetary power, we are introducing our own currency system, which we call payola. And interesting is the fact that Sir Maynard Keynes proposed a very similar idea at the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, because the British wanted to avoid that in post-World War II times that a national currency would become a dominant currency, because the British had the privilege that the world was running on their currency, and now they could foresee that if the dollar would become the world currency, that this would put the United States in favor of all other nations. Unfortunately, the United States could win their position of introducing the dollar as world key currency. The currency which we are introducing already exists, and we do introduce it at art events or at theaters. In Munich, the Kammerspiele was running 2 days only on our money, and you actually can buy it against national currencies. The strategy is that this expansion of the political systems cannot be done or will not be done by the systems in place, because the nations, of course, they wouldn't like to have organizations superior to them. So the only way something like this could happen is if all of us build this together. It only can start as a grassroots organization. And this is how we do it. We have immigration offices. We do identity cards for people who join our transnational republic, and like this we are building a network. Currently we have around 4,500 citizens from more than 100 nations. So the conclusion is we need to recognize that the global goals, like the preventing of climate change, have not yet found an optimal container for their representation, because they typically are in conflict with the goals of nation states, the United Nations or the global players. We need to prevent that we miss these goals just because consumer or national interests are finding a better representation than our human interests. If you want to get in touch with us, just exit this hangar straight on until you hit the last fence. There we have our own village and an embassy, and you can enroll and become a transnational republic citizen, and you will receive an identity card. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to all the speakers. That's all who signed up. So if any one of you is now interested in giving a short talk, please just come here. Otherwise, the event will be over. Yeah, just come. Kannst du auf Deutsch?
Hello? I don't know if you know it already. I did an enlightening talk also at the CCC, and yes, because here's a little bit time, I think I can repeat it. But I will do this in German. So because it's more interesting for the German people. Sorry for the English people. Also, es geht um das Neo-Layout. Oh, gehen alle. Es geht um das Neo-Layout. Das ist ein optimiertes Layout für die deutsche Sprache. Ihr kennt vielleicht das Dvorak-Layout. Das ist ein Layout, was für das Englische optimiert ist. Oder es kennen alle das QWERTY oder QWERTZ-Layout. Und das QWERTZ-Layout ist allerdings so entstanden, dass es eher optimiert ist darauf, dass sich die Typen nicht verhaken in einer Schreibmaschine. So, und wir haben also das Neo-Layout, was jetzt optimiert ist für eben die Bigramme. Hier oben sind die häufigsten Bigramme aufgetragen, und ich hatte es eben schon auf dem CCC erzählt, dass eben die wichtigsten Zeichen sind eben auf der Grundreihe, und man kann das eben schnell tippen. Ich will das jetzt aber nur kurz halten, weil ich das eben schon erzählt hatte, und dann eher auf die Weiterentwicklung eingehen. Also ich tippe das jetzt mal schnell ab, damit man sieht immer, das Blaue ist der aktuelle Buchstabe, und dann könnt ihr das ja, mach ich das mal kurz stumm sozusagen. Einen Moment. So, also was man jetzt vielleicht gesehen hat, ist, dass sich das relativ auf der Grundreihe bewegt hat. Und wenn ich das Ganze jetzt mal für QWERTZ, also ich kann es hier umstellen auf das, was man so kennt, dann sieht man eben, dass es sich überhaupt nicht auf der Grundreihe bewegt, wenn ich jetzt die häufigsten Bigramme tippe. So, also das ist das. Und jetzt noch zu den Weiterentwicklungen, die wir jetzt speziell in dem Layout gemacht haben. Es sagen ja viele zum Beispiel, dass sie das nicht das QWERTZ nehmen, weil da die Sonderzeichen so schlecht zu erreichen sind. Und der Meinung bin ich ja auch, deshalb nehmen eben viele das QWERTY-Layout. Wir haben dafür die eigene Lösung. Wir haben eine weitere Ebene, die speziell die Sonderzeichen enthält, und sind der Meinung, dass so Zeichen wie die Klammern oder die Klammern, die man eben häufig zum Programmieren braucht, die Tilde, der Slash, das Dollar, direkt aufs Tassenfeld gehören. Das heißt, man drückt hier den Modifier für diese Ebene, der ist hier, wo das Caps Lock ist. Caps Lock braucht man immer dann, wenn man vergessen hat, wenn man es versehentlich gedrückt hat und beim Passwort eingeben merkt, dass es eingeschaltet ist, um es wieder auszuschalten. So, deshalb haben wir das entfernt, dort einen Modifier hingelegt, hier genauso einen Modifier, dass man den mit den kleinen Fingern erreichen kann, und kann jetzt eben die Klammern relativ schnell erwischen hier, direkt auf der Grundreihe, und die ganzen Sonderzeichen, die man braucht. Das Ganze sieht jetzt vielleicht ein bisschen wüst aus, hat aber auch ein System, weil es gibt auch bei denen Bigramme, das habe ich allerdings nie so richtig gut in das Programm reingekriegt. Ich öffne das mal hier. Kommt nie. Ja, also so Sonderzeichen, zum Beispiel Tilde Slash braucht man häufig, Doppelpunkt ist gleich, die Pfeile, Ausrufezeichen ist gleich und die Ebene ist jetzt eben auf diese Zeichen so etwas optimiert, dass man die eben schnell tippen kann. Ich zeige das mal hier im Layout. Also zum Beispiel Tilde Slash kann man dann eben hier Tilde Slash tippen. Das ist jetzt immer auf einer Hand, weil man drückt mit einer Hand den Modifier und mit der anderen Hand drückt man dann eben Tilde Slash. Oder man will die Klammern hintereinander, Klammer auf, Klammer zu oder Ausrufezeichen ist gleich. Dann eben mit einer Hand Ausrufezeichen ist gleich, mit der anderen Hand den Modifier. Und so ist das Ganze eben aufgebaut. Oder Slash Stern für Kommentare, Slash Stern. Oder Doppelpunkt Minus, Klammer zu oder sowas. Ja, und wer sich jetzt fragt, was so das M5 bedeutet und hier unten Mod 5, ja, es ist liegt natürlich sehr nah, wenn man das Layout so sieht. Wenn man das Layout so sieht, dann denkt man gleich an sein VI und denkt, naja, ich habe ja hier eigentlich im VI HJKL und steuere damit immer die Tasten und das ist ja eigentlich sehr schade, das funktioniert jetzt nicht mehr und ich muss mir das also umkonfigurieren, habe da viel Arbeit damit. Ja, und dafür gibt es allerdings dann den Modifier für die 5. Ebene. Ja, der war hier unten. Und da hat man hier ein komplettes Steuerkreuz und da werden eben auch richtig die Tastaturcodes gesendet, dass man ein ordentliches Steuerkreuz hat, kann man in jeder Anwendung verwenden. Und hier nochmal den Zahlenblock und das erreicht man eben komplett über den Modifier über die 5. Ebene. Okay, wenn noch Fragen sind, dann stehe ich gerne dafür offen, ansonsten genau, kommt einfach zu mir danach.
Anyone else? Okay, then thanks for attending this event and see you later.